The rooftop garden of the Kessler Tower smelled like rain that had not happened yet. Zara Quinn stood near the edge of it, pretending to check her phone while actually just trying to stop her hands from shaking. She was wearing oversized tan linen trousers that pooled slightly at the ankles over beat-up white platform sneakers with a fraying left lace she kept meaning to replace. Her black crop hoodie was faded at the cuffs, sleeves pushed up, and her silver chain necklace with a tiny broken compass charm sat against her collarbone like a little secret. Her braids were pulled up into a high, slightly chaotic puff with 2 pencils stuck in it because she had run out of hair ties 3 weeks ago and just kept forgetting to buy more. Her tote bag was the color of dried mustard and had a patch on the front that said "Too tired for this" sewn on slightly crooked. She was not supposed to be on the rooftop. She was supposed to be on floor 14 for her internship interview at Kessler Creative Agency. She had taken the elevator to the roof by accident because the button panel was backwards compared to every other building she had ever been in, and she had pressed R thinking it meant reception. It did not mean reception. She was turning to go back when the rooftop door swung open hard and a man walked through it like he was cutting through a crowd that was not there. His name was Eli Kessler. He was wearing a light gray fitted dress shirt with the top 2 buttons undone, sleeves rolled twice to the forearm, and dark charcoal tailored trousers with a slight break at the shoe. His shoes were black with a matte finish, the kind that looked expensive without trying to. His watch was simple, thin, rose gold. He had dark circles under his eyes that no amount of money had fixed yet, and his jaw was tight in the way of someone who had been talking all day and was done with it. He did not look like a man who expected anyone else to be here. He stopped when he saw her. She did not move. "This is a private rooftop," he said. "Not mean. Just flat." "I know," she said. "I pressed the wrong button." He looked at her like that was the most unimpressive excuse he had ever heard. "How?" "The panel is backwards. It has been the same since 2019. "Cool, I've never been here before." A pause. He looked at the tote bag. The pencils in her hair. The fraying lace. "Who are you here to see?" he asked. "Kessler Creative. Floor 14. I have a 2 p.m. interview for the junior content coordinator position." She checked her phone. "I now have 11 minutes to get there." He said nothing for 3 full seconds. "Take the service elevator on the left," he said. "It's faster." "Thank you," she said, already moving. "It also only opens from the inside," he added. "You'll need a key card." She stopped. Turned back around. He was already pulling his own key card out of his pocket, holding it out without expression. She took it. Their fingers did not touch. She made sure. She was halfway to the elevator when he spoke again. "Don't be late," he said. "They hate that." She did not turn around. She just raised one hand slightly as she walked away, not quite a wave, not quite anything. She made it with 4 minutes to spare. She did not find out until she was seated in the interview room, looking at the name placard on the table, that the interview panel was led by someone named E. Kessler. He walked in 2 minutes later. His expression did not change at all. Hers did. She got the internship. She did not know how. She had fumbled her answer about brand strategy, called the company's flagship campaign "fine, I guess," but not really culturally responsive, and knocked her water bottle off the table when she reached for her portfolio. But she got it. Zara's first week at Kessler Creative was a blur of badge access codes, Slack channels named things like Hype Q and Vibes Only, and one senior designer named Priya who took one look at Zara and said, "Okay, you're going to be either a disaster or iconic, I can't tell yet." Eli Kessler was not supposed to be involved with the intern cohort. He ran the executive side. She was on the creative floor. They existed in different atmospheres. Except on Tuesday, the elevators in the East Wing broke. And on Wednesday, she took the stairwell. And on Wednesday, so did he. She heard him before she saw him, his voice sharp and clipped on a phone call, moving fast down the stairs from above. She stepped to the side to let him pass. He was in a deep green suit this time, slim fit, with a white shirt fully buttoned and a black tie loosened like an afterthought. His hair was slightly less controlled than the first time, like the morning had gotten away from him. He glanced down as he passed. He stopped. "You're the rooftop girl," he said. "I have a name." "I know. Zara Quinn. You called our 2021 campaign fine, I guess." She winced. "I said it wasn't culturally responsive." Same sentence. Different energy. He studied her for a second. Like she was a puzzle he had not decided to solve yet. "You were right," he said. She blinked. "What?" "The campaign. It tested well internally and bombed externally. You called it in 30 seconds. Our team spent 4 months on it." He said it like a fact. No emotion. "Why?" The main visual used a silhouette that looked like the Pepsi logo from 2008. Nobody under 30 trusts that shape anymore. It felt like nostalgia for something that wasn't even good the first time. He was quiet. "Floor 14, he asked. "Yeah. Walk with me." She did not know why she said yes. She said yes. They walked together to the 14th floor and he said almost nothing and she said slightly too much because she got nervous when rooms were quiet and stairwells were basically vertical rooms. She told him she was studying communications with a focus on digital culture at Meridian University. That she was paying her own tuition. That she had wanted to work at Kessler Creative since she was a junior in high school and made a whole mood board about it that she still had somewhere, embarrassingly. He listened. Really listened. Which was somehow worse than if he had ignored her. At floor 14 he held the stairwell door open. "The internship has a mentorship component," he said. "The assigned mentor for your cohort just left the company. I'm reassigning it." "To who?" she asked. "Me," he said. The door closed behind her before she could respond. She stood in the hallway, heart doing something completely inappropriate, and whispered to the empty corridor, "What is even happening right now?" Priya appeared from around the corner with a coffee. "You okay?" Priya asked. "He's going to be my mentor," Zara said. Priya slowly lowered her coffee. "Eli Kessler?" "Yeah." Priya looked at her for a long moment. "Okay," Priya said carefully. "So you know he hasn't mentored anyone in like 3 years. Not since his last creative director quit and said some stuff publicly that he never addressed." "What stuff?" Priya glanced around. Lowered her voice. "That Eli Kessler is brilliant and also genuinely impossible to work for. That he will see things in you that you didn't know were there and then hold you to a standard that does not exist yet." She paused. "And that working closely with him has a way of either making you or completely unraveling you." Zara looked at the stairwell door. "Great," she said. "Cool. Love that for me." The mentorship sessions happened on Thursdays at 6 p.m. when the creative floor was mostly empty and the light through the glass walls turned everything amber. Zara sat across from Eli at the long table and spread her work out like evidence at a trial. He read everything slowly. Never reacted immediately. She had learned after week 2 that the silence meant he was thinking and not that she had failed, but it still made her want to fill the air with words, which she kept mostly suppressing. The work she brought in week 4 was a full pitch for a rebrand of one of Kessler's mid-tier clients. She had stayed up until 2 a.m. 3 nights in a row on it. The color palette was drawn from satellite images of the client's home city at night. The typography was custom. The tagline made Priya actually tear up when Zara showed her. Eli looked at it for a long time. "This is the best intern work I've seen in 6 years," he said. She felt something crack open in her chest. The good kind of crack. "But you're not presenting it," he said. The crack closed. What? Why? Because Marcus Webb from Senior Creative already submitted a version of this concept to the client last week. He turned his laptop around. The deck on the screen had the same color palette. A different tagline but the same structural logic. The same emotional core. Zara stared at it. I never showed Marcus my work, she said slowly. I know. Then how did he? Your shared drive folder. He has access. Eli said it quietly. Like he already knew this would hurt. I noticed the overlap this morning. She felt the burn start behind her eyes and absolutely refused to let it go anywhere. He took it, she said. Yes. And he's presenting it to the client. Tomorrow. She looked at the table. Counted the wood grain lines. Got to 7 before she trusted herself to speak again. What do I do? That's what I'm trying to figure out, he said. And for the first time since she had known him, he sounded like he did not have an answer already queued up. They stayed there for 2 hours. Not solving it. Just sitting in the weight of it together, which was its own strange kind of thing. At some point she said, You didn't just see a coincidence this morning, did you? You checked. He did not answer immediately. I've been watching your work since the stairwell, he said finally. You think differently than anyone on that floor. I didn't want someone to flatten that before you even had a chance. She looked at him for a long second. That's actually really kind, she said, from someone who presents as being completely incapable of that. His mouth did something that was almost a smile. Don't spread that around, he said. She laughed. Real, surprised, slightly too loud for the empty floor. He looked at her when she laughed. And then he looked away, fast. Like he had caught himself doing something he had not meant to do. The next morning, Zara walked into the Senior Creative presentation room 12 minutes before the client call, sat down next to Marcus Webb, and put her original time-stamped draft on the table in front of everyone. Marcus went very still. I think we should talk about where this concept came from, she said pleasantly. Eli was not in the room. He did not need to be. She handled it herself. What she did not know, not yet, was that Marcus Webb was Eli's college roommate. His oldest friend in the building. And Eli had known about the stolen work for 48 hours before he told her. He had used that time to build her a quiet safety net she could not see. But Marcus found out. And Marcus told her. He told her in the hallway after, voice low and sharp, that Eli had flagged his access to her folder weeks ago and said nothing. That Eli had a pattern of this. Setting people up close and then watching what they did under pressure. That Zara was not special. She was a test. She stood in the hallway and did not move for a long time. Then she went to the bathroom, looked at herself in the mirror, and said nothing. Sometimes there are no words. Sometimes there is just the question of whether you believed something real or something you wanted to be real. She did not know which one it was. Not yet. She avoided him for 8 days. She took different stairwells. She rerouted her lunch breaks. She kept her shared drive private and worked from a notebook instead, old school, pen and paper, nothing digital until it was finished. Priya noticed. Priya said nothing for 6 of those days and then on day 7 brought Zara a coffee and sat down next to her and said, Okay, what actually happened? Zara told her. Priya was quiet for a moment. Did Marcus tell you Eli set you up as a test or did Marcus just say that because he got caught? Zara opened her mouth. Closed it. I don't know, she admitted. Because those are very different things, Priya said. On day 8, Eli appeared at the door of the small conference room where Zara was working alone at 7 p.m. He was not in a suit. He was in a black long-sleeve crew neck and dark jeans and he looked, for the first time, like someone who had not calculated exactly how he would look that day. His hands were in his pockets. He had clearly not planned what to say. "Can I come in?" he asked. She said nothing. He came in anyway. Sat across from her. Did not open a laptop. Did not bring anything. "You think I used you," he said. Marcus said. "I know what Marcus said." He exhaled slowly. Marcus is one of the smartest people I've ever known and one of the only ones who knows exactly which version of a story will land hardest. So he lied. He told you the part that was true and left out the rest. Eli looked at the table. "Yes, I flagged his access to your folder. I did it because 2 weeks in I saw what you were building and I had seen Marcus take credit for junior work before. I wanted to stop it before it happened." He paused. "I should have told you. I didn't because I thought if you knew someone was protecting you, you'd second guess whether you were doing it yourself." Zara stared at him. "That is the most controlling logic I have ever heard," she said. "I know. You made a decision about what I could handle without asking me." "Yes. That's not mentorship, that's just." "I know what it is," he said quietly. "I do it because it's the only way I know how to help people without getting in the way of them. Which is still getting in the way of them." "I know." The silence between them was different now. Less hard. "Why do you care this much about my work?" she asked. Actually. Not the professional version of the answer. He looked at her for a long moment. "Because the first time I saw it I recognized something," he said. "The way you think. The connections you make. I spent years building this company around that way of thinking and I was the only one doing it and it was exhausting and then you walked in and you just saw things and I didn't want that to get crushed." She was quiet. "I'm going to be honest with you," she said. "Okay. I have been trying very hard not to feel things about you that would be a terrible idea." He did not look away. "Me too," he said. The room was very still. "I'm still an intern," she said. "I know. You're the guy whose name is on the building." "I know. This is genuinely such a bad idea." "I know," he said again. But the way he said it the third time was different. Softer. Like it was not actually a deterrent. She looked at him for a long moment. Then Marcus Webb opened the conference room door. He saw them both. He read the room in about 1 second. "So you told her your version," Marcus said to Eli. His voice was calm. Almost cold. "Yes," Eli said. "Did you tell her about the board vote?" Marcus said. "The one where you recommended the internship program be dissolved after this cohort. Which would mean her position doesn't convert to full-time regardless of her performance." Zara turned to look at Eli. Eli's jaw tightened. He had not told her that. She stood up. Picked up her notebook. Her pencils. Her mustard tote bag. "I need some air," she said. To no one in particular. To the whole room. She left. Neither of them followed her. Which was somehow the worst part. 3 days before the end of the internship, Eli reversed the board vote. Zara found out from Priya, who heard it from finance, who heard it from the executive assistant who had been at the meeting. Eli had proposed converting 2 intern positions to permanent junior creative roles and had argued for it for 40 minutes against 3 board members who thought it was a cost inefficiency and one who just did not like the idea of change. He had not told Zara. He was not going to tell Zara. She knew because she had started to understand how he operated. He moved things quietly. He did not take credit. He did not announce. She went to the rooftop. It was the same time of day as the first time. The light was doing the same low amber thing it had been doing in that conference room where things had shifted between them. The city below was loud in the way cities are when you are high enough that the sound blurs into a single frequency. She had been standing there for 11 minutes when the door opened. He was in a charcoal coat this time, over the same kind of fitted dark trousers she had come to expect, and he stopped when he saw her like he had not planned to find her here. Maybe he hadn't. "You reversed the vote," she said. He said nothing. "You didn't tell me." "It wasn't mine to tell," he said. "It was a board decision. The outcome was yours. You argued for it for 40 minutes. How do you know that?" "The whole floor knows. You are somehow the worst kept secret in a company you literally own." Something shifted in his face. Not quite a smile but adjacent. She turned to look at him fully. She was wearing a rust-colored ribbed long sleeve with a wide collar that had slipped slightly off one shoulder, tucked loosely into high-waisted wide-leg jeans in a dark wash with one frayed belt loop she kept meaning to fix. Her sneakers were forest green, worn at the toe, paired with low white socks with a small daisy embroidered at the ankle that she had bought at a market on a day she was feeling optimistic. Her braids were down today, all the way, no pencils. Her compass charm sat at her collarbone. She had not dressed to be here specifically. She was just herself. "I need to ask you something," she said. "Okay. When you first saw my work." "Really first? Was any part of it about the company? About what you could use? Or was it just about me?" He walked toward her slowly. Stopped a few feet away. "It started as the company," he said. "I won't lie to you about that. You were a resource I recognized. I'm built to see that." He paused. "And then you laughed in the stairwell and explained the Pepsi logo thing and argued with me about my own campaign in an interview, and I stopped thinking about the company." She looked at him. "You're still the worst communicator I've ever met," she said. "Yes. You protect people in ways that feel like control and then get confused when they're upset about it. Also yes. You had 48 hours with the information about Marcus and you used it to build me a safety net instead of just telling me the truth." "Which was wrong," he said. Quietly. "I know." She was quiet for a moment. "My mom used to say that the most dangerous people are the ones who love you in ways that are bad for you but mean it completely," she said. He did not respond. "I don't know which one you are yet," she said. "I don't know if you're the kind of broken that makes other people stronger or the kind that just spreads." "That's fair," he said. "I don't know either." The honesty of it stopped her. She had not expected that. She looked at the city below. He stood beside her. Not touching. Not moving away. "I got the position," she said finally. "I know. And I'm going to be genuinely terrible to manage. I know. And I'm going to call your campaigns fine whenever they're actually fine. I'm counting on it," he said. She looked at him sideways. He was looking at the city, jaw slightly less tight than it used to be, and there was something in the line of his face that looked like a person who had been holding a breath for a very long time and was considering, maybe, letting it out. She did not fix it all that day. Neither did he. The trust had cracks in it that would take time to fill, if they filled at all. The power between them was uneven in ways they would have to keep naming out loud. There was no clean ending. No moment where everything resolved into something easy. But she stayed on the rooftop. And he stayed too. And the city kept going below them, loud and unsentimental and completely indifferent, the way cities are. The compass at her collarbone caught the light for a second. Still broken. Still pointing somewhere. The end.